So your Android application has already been published. You have one version published on the Google Play Store. That means that finally you can set up continuous delivery to this application that is already in the store directly from App Center. Now, for us to configure the store, we're actually going to have to navigate over to the Google Play console first, just in the same place where you would find the application that you just published. You would have to navigate back to all applications, navigate over to settings, and navigate inside of developer account over to API access. In here, the first time that you navigate, if this is the first time that you're navigating here, you're going to have to accept some terms of service. And somewhere around here, you're going to find a button to create a new project. In my case, I already see one project here created. But if you don't, just go ahead and create a new project. If you do already see a project in here, also make sure that you link that project from here. As you can see, mine is also already linked. But once you have completed this process, you're going to be able to navigate over to the important section for this lecture. Down below, you're going to find service accounts. Essentially, what we are going to be doing is creating an account that can connect to the Google Play Developer Publishing API. With that account, App Center is going to act as a user that has access to my Google Play console, so they can automatically publish new versions of my application. So in here, I am going to create that new service account. A small window is going to appear. Simply go ahead and click on this Google API console or open it on another tab. And in here, we're going to be able to go ahead and create that account that I'm telling you App Center is going to use to connect to the Google Play Console API to act as a user that has access to my applications, so new updates are published. So here on the API console, simply click on Create a new service account. You are going to need to set a name. I am going to name this Red Books and a small description. And finally, click on Create. The second step is to add roles to this account. So what permissions is this account going to have? And the one that I'm going to give is from project, the owner permission. So this account is going to have full access to all the resources. This way, they will be able to update that application that I'm going to be using. With that permission set, I am going to click on Continue. In the third step, I am going to have to click on the Create Key button that is all the way to the bottom. This is going to generate a JSON file. It could optionally generate a P12 file. We've seen this happen before in the case of iOS, but we're going to be using a JSON file, the recommended option in this list. And I will just click on Create. This JSON file is going to be downloaded. And once it is downloaded, I can click on Close and I can hit on Done. And I will be able to just close this API console. Back in the Google Play console, I can, where I saw this window, just click on Done. It is going to be reloaded and I am going to see this new service account listed. Now I have to grant access to this account. I could set an expiration date. I am not going to be doing that. I am going to set a role of administrator in here. And just notice that these permissions are going to be applied globally. Optionally, you could set the permission per application, for example, permissions only for our Redbooks project. In case you don't want this user to see app information globally and you just want it to have that access level for this particular application, but in our case, it can be left as global if you want. So just click on Add User. So there you have it. We are now going to have an additional user in here that essentially, as I mentioned, is going to act as a user that has access to my own account and can update the application. With this, I will be able to navigate back to App Center. And since we're configuring Android, select the Android application. This time, over on the Distribute tab, we're going to be setting up the store. Finally, we're going to be able to set up that continuous delivery process over to the Google Play Store. So here I will click on the Connect to Store button, and of course I want to connect Google Play. Here, as you can see, we have to upload a JSON file. As it turns out, we have just downloaded it. So just click on this and find that JSON file that you have just downloaded. It's going to be uploaded over to App Center, and as soon as it is ready, click on Connect. The connection is going to be established, and finally all we have to do is assign which application are we going to link to this App Center project. And for that we have to establish the app name, and we can find that over on Visual Studio. If we expand our Android project, open the properties and open the Android manifest, we're going to see the package name. Something very similar to what we saw happen on iOS as well. So in my case, this unique reverse domain is going to be used, com.lalorosas.redbooks. So that is exactly what I'm going to set over here on App Center. This is the app package name for the application that I've just published in the Play Store, and that is going to be linked here on App Center. So just click on Assign, and there we go. We're actually going to be able to see the alpha, the beta, and the production versions of our application over on the store. Now, as I've mentioned, we're only going to be setting up the production version. Normally, since we've already set some distribution through App Center, the only remaining step is to have the production version. So now that we have this set up, this store connected here on App Center, the only thing that's missing is to navigate back to the Build tab and configure correctly our master branch. So the dev branch and the test branch are already completely set up. The dev branch does not make any releases, but the test branch does. It generates a release that gets distributed directly through App Center. Now from the master branch, we are also going to be distributing. So we will have to change the configuration. Changing it, for instance, to be a release configuration instead of a debug configuration. I will continue to build this on every push, so there is continuous integration and continuous delivery. But this time I am going to be signing the builds just as we saw before in the test branch. So in here I am also going to be uploading that key store file that we have already generated before. So somewhere on my computer I still have that key store file, the same one that we used for the test branch. I am going to set the password, the alias, and the other password, which in my case is the exact same one. So there we have it, we're already going to be signing these builds. Optionally, and I normally do enable this since it is free, there is going to be a test run of our build. So it's going to try and run on a real device, and only if that test passes will we be able to publish this build. Which is exactly the next step, to distribute the builds. Of course, we've also seen this before in the form of groups in our test branch, but this time we will be able to set the store. Our destination is going to be the production of the Google Play application that we've already set up. And we can even set some release notes directly from here. So, for example, some bugs have been fixed. And every time we push and merge over to master, this is going to be the node that gets used in the Play Store. So this is likely why you see that most of the times when an application is updated, the release note looks exactly the same as before. This is a very general message, but it's going to work. So as soon as we click on save, there you go. We have successfully set up continuous delivery for our master branch on our Android project. That means that the next time that we merge a pull request into our master branch, it is not only going to build, it is also going to generate a test run, but most importantly, it is going to generate a release that is going to be distributed to the production release already on the Google Play Store, We are not yet going to be generating any merges, we still have to configure the iOS application. But that is exactly what we will do in the next lecture. We will configure the Apple App Store over on the iOS application here in App Center. And once we have both stores already connected and we have set up both builds, we will finally navigate over to GitHub, start a pull request to merge everything into master, maybe make a change here and there so there is actually a new feature or a new change available in this new version, merge everything into master, and see the new build being released to the stores.